could not understand. Okay, and he transferred 25 million from his company's account here to the client's account. Happens. Okay, that's what Gen AI is actually doing to us. So global deepfake market is huge, okay, because like it's increasing every day. And because people do not have much understanding what to do, they're actually falling in the trap. So deepfake can be done by voice, okay, by impersonating your voice. You might hear your voice, okay, in another person's lip, and you have got no clue. By your image, your videos, everything. So as you can see, the global deepfake market is actually increasing, and by the next 10 years, expected to be almost like 120 billion. So that's how Gen AI is actually changing the face of the cyber attacks. So how can Gen AI enable cyber defense? Okay, coming to the safety. So Gen AI can do that, and by the different tools and technologies which are still upcoming. A lot of research is happening. And once this becomes, the common technology to adapt, then it's predicted that a lot of attacks can be taken care of. So Gen AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, it can learn from large AI models and LLMs, and these are trained on data sets, extensive data sets of actual cyber threat intelligence. So tools like that can be used to the benefit of identifying, predicting this kind of attacks. Okay. So these kind of tools can analyze vast amount of log files and network traffic and can do something about it. So there's a small comparison. You can see there's a current of what's happening in the cybersecurity arena, and then what's the full potential of Gen AI-based cyber defense. So currently, as you can see, so for a person or for a company to prepare that a cyber attack might happen, then to identify when an attack has happened, then to contain, okay, or like stop it, then to eradicate or like remove it, then recover from the attack, and then feedback. These things are in the little impact range. That means like without the power of Gen AI, these are having very less impact. Once Gen AI comes into play, this will have more impact, and companies can be more assured that they can better prepare, they can better identify, they can better contain, eradicate, recover, and feedback, okay, from these attacks. So what's the current status of Gen AI-enabled cyber defense, and what's the future looks like? So Gen AI, as I said, can proactively help in the cyber defense of organizations. However, it's like still very much nascent stage, and a lot of like research is ongoing. So it can help in the automated security check. So automatically companies can actually enable Gen AI system to check the security. It can simulate real-world attacks. So there are actually tools and technologies which are slowly upcoming in the market, which simulate attacks, okay? And people can learn from them. It can understand the threat intelligence and predict some kind of a threat happening. It can monitor network, it can incident the response. So everything like this, which are the typical things that companies do in terms of cyber safety, is happening. So people who are interested in cyber safety must start learning Gen AI from now. So, as I said, simulated real-world attacks is coming up very important. There are not much tools and technologies as of yet which actually simulate any kind of real-world attacks. So if you are pro into technologies, if you have some good knowledge of AI, and you want to be an entrepreneur, this is something that you can think of. Okay, can you come up with very small tools where you simulate some phishing attacks or some ransomware attacks? Lots of data sets available. You just have to train the tool. Okay, and you can have a small startup, and people will be actually valuing out of it. Then, of course, threat intelligence and predictive analysis and incident response. All those things are possible with Gen AI. I'm not going in depth, but these are the different things here. So what are the challenges to overcome and the best practice to follow if you have to have a Gen AI-enabled tools and technology in the market? So data quality and bias in data. So of course, people who are into data science or machine learning, they must be knowing what I'm talking here. So of course, when you're trying to train a model with data, your data quality is very important. If the input data is biased or skewed to something, your output will be wrong. So your data have to be neutral, okay, absolutely flawless. okay, to get the right output. Adversarial attack. In this picture, what I can see, you can understand. So the original image is a cat, and the output expected for the system to understand is a cat. Now, if I'm a hacker, what I can do, I can hack the system, and I can just manipulate something, the input, and I can change some of the codes so that the system will understand the cat as a dog and not as a cat. Okay, this is what we call an adversarial attack. It's very important, very easy to do actually. Okay, but it's a big threat because like all your information can be manipulated very easily. Okay, by some lines of code, which you call the GenAI code, right, depending on some AI models. Okay, and this kind of attacks can manipulate through very, carefully crafted inputs to produce output of inference outputs. Ethical and legal concerns. We are still early, so there are not much government regulations on what we can do and what we cannot do with GenAI. So a lot of like ethical and legal concerns, including policies and procedures, need to be in place, okay, to make things work in the right way. Resource requirements. So organizations who are trying to implement this kind of system are facing challenges in resourcing for GenAI systems because number one, lack of manpower. Okay, there are not many people worldwide who understands AI, not many people worldwide who understands GenAI, and even a smaller number of people worldwide who understand cybersecurity. Okay, so in any country, if you just like go ahead and look for jobs, there are a huge number of opportunities and jobs in cyber. Okay, so there's something for you to think as a student as well. So number two is integration and compatibility. If you have a new system which is working in a very different way, you are trying to integrate the system with your existing system, it's always a difficulty. In this case as well, because your existing system will not understand how the new system will work. Okay, so how we can actually integrate that in the backend, that's very important. How we can train your staff. Staff training is very important nowadays, and there's a lack of resources for that. So what are the key takeaways from a GenAI-enabled cyber defense mechanism? So organizations have already started to embrace GenAI for the cyber defense, but there's many challenges and uncertainties. In my talk, I've just highlighted a few of them, and the list is endless at the moment. So, so to have a GenAI-powered defense mechanism, while working worldwide, it will be 5 to 10 years, if I'm not wrong, where the world will see this kind of things in place. So on the left-hand side on the diagram, as you can see, that we have the weaponization of AI. Okay, how AI and GenAI can actually create more cyber threats, and the right-hand side is AI to augment or to defend the cybersecurity side. Okay, so this is why we call it a bane or a boon. It's like a two-phase, so it can be misused. At the same time, it can be utilized properly. So the role of generative AI in cybersecurity is humongous. It's tremendous kind of role. So it can do anything to stop, to identify, to prepare, to identify, to stop, and eradicate any kind of these kind of attacks. But it's a long way to go still. So examples of few GenAI-powered cyber defense tools I've just listed here, all are very early stages. For example, if you are into cloud security, of course, you must be known about the global cloud security AI workbench, Microsoft Security Copilot, another tool which is actually gaining traction nowadays worldwide. CrowdStrike is very important. Cisco Security Cloud. I happened to just be in a forum last year with Cisco people in Kuala Lumpur. Of course, they actually just showed these tools, what they're doing, along with the other tools, and there's got huge potential for the cybersecurity market. Sentinel and Singularity is another very good tool, open source at the moment. Then we have got the last two, IBM Guardian and the Tenables Exposure AI. So Exposure AI is also partially open source. You can actually try that one. So these are the tools have their own way of solving things. Some of them face target like phishing, some of them target defects, some of them target ransomware, some of them target everything as a total enterprise safety. So you can just try out. Some of these tools are actually open source. Also, to add into that, a lot of companies are actually giving values to open source nowadays, because like the tools which are payable, these are very expensive at times. So small to medium scale industries, they are the companies who are actually suffering a lot. So in that space, there is nothing at the moment, completely zero. Okay, they are still using very traditional tools, and most of them are not using anything. Okay, so in our institute at TELUS, so we always meet with these kind of people, and we hear from them. Many of them have got no clue what cybersecurity are. So I'm pretty sure the same in India. Okay, so people who want to start their own startups, this is the space to move into. You should think about that. If you know a little bit of cybersecurity, some tools and technologies, learn them. Very easy to learn nowadays. Heaps of materials online. Okay, learn about some AI and GenAI, how they work, and just be in the market. Okay, find a client and start from there. Not that difficult to do, actually. So, and for researchers who want to look for new research topics for PhD in cyber and in AI and GenAI. So each of these domains. So this is a very good picture I found from the internet. These are the domains that you can look into. Okay, and each of these topics can have multiple subtopics, and not many research has been done so far. So here I will just very quickly go through a very small thing that we did. One of my students did actually. So as a case study, he actually created an intrusion detection system using a very small generative team. So this is just a very simple tool, okay, that we have created. So what we tried to do, we tried to detect intrusion, and we tried to identify unauthorized access or attacks into a very small system, okay? And then we use the machine learning, GenAI autoencoders, and to detect anomalies in the network traffic area. And we tried to build an AI model that can distinguish between a normal traffic and an attack traffic in a given data set. So the data set we used is evanescent MV15. It's available on Crackle and other sources. And that data set has got two different classes of traffic. One is the normal traffic, which we call class 0. One is the anomaly traffic, which is called class 1. In the anomaly traffic, these are the different types of anomalies or attacks which are in the data set as well. And this is just a glimpse of the data set that we used. So in the data set, there were this distribution of normal traffic and attack traffic that is simulated. And of course, autoencoders are a type of generative model. And I'm not really going in depth of that. The autoencoders learns to generate or reconstruct the normal network traffic or the normal behavior. And for any traffic that it cannot reconstruct a normal behavior, that was the anomaly traffic or the attack traffic. So basically what we tried to do, we tried to train our AI model by setting up the normal traffic, and it reconstructs the normal traffic as is. If yes, it's fine. And then we also punched in the abnormal traffic, and we see, can we reconstruct the abnormal traffic? If no, that means that's the anomaly, okay, and that should be filtered out. So that's what we call that reconstruction error, okay. Can the autoencoder generate or regenerate the normal traffic, and can it regenerate as is, the error traffic? So that difference is what we call the reconstruction error. So to prepare the model, we just follow the steps as usual. So we use 80% of the data to train the model and 20% to actually test it. So some of the codes here. So the whole project was done in Colab. Okay. So I'm not going to in depth of these things. So the important thing here is we figured out that 95th percentile of the reconstruction errors were chosen as the threshold for anomaly detection. So that's the 95th threshold we set. That means that the top 5% of the samples were the reconstruction error. So that's what we actually tried to find out. And anything over the top 5%, we took it as an anomaly or attack attack happening. So basically that's how we just tested a very small model. It's just a case study. But the main purpose of showing this is that it's not that difficult to create a small system that you can apply in the real world and try to figure out anomaly traffics. Okay, and you can use autoencoders for GenAI. You can use variational autoencoders. You can use deep autoencoders. There's a lot of different tools and technologies available. And nowadays with GitHub and everything, codes are freely available. Okay, so just one for you. All right, so that's all for my talk today. Thank you. Good job on the university in Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. If you have any questions for sir, questions are welcomed, everyone. Please raise your hand in case you have a question for sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your impactful address. I would now like to introduce you all to our second keynote speaker for today, Dr. Kiran Trivedi. Dr. Kiran Trivedi is an associate professor of computer science at the University of Wollongong, Gift City campus, Gandhinagar, Gujarat, India. Previously, he worked as an associate professor in data analytics engineering at Northeastern University, Seattle, USA, and taught at Gujarat Technological University for over 20 years. With a PhD in human brainwave analysis and communication devices, Dr. Trivedi has 28 years of teaching experience in India and the USA. He has organized workshops on wireless and mobile technologies, given talks to AI, edge computing, and deep learning, and works on developing AI-based health and ICT applications. Dr. Trivedi has spoken at international events, including UNESCO in France, ICTP in Italy, and Georgia Tech in the USA. He won the ITU WSIS Hackathon for Sustainable ICT Solutions and was recognized as a Nokia Developer Champion. He has published over 35 research papers, holds 2 patents, and mentors students with his team's winning state-level hackathons. I would like to call Dr. Trivedi to deliver the keynote. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, friends. Very happy to see you all here for the second international conference. And when I was listening Professor Ray's session, going coincidentally, like we are going to talk on the same thing, but the word which eventually comes to that is basically the AI agent, like how generative AI is being used for everything in terms of including the cyber security as well. So what I'm going to talk today is basically the AI agents. And before that, I would like to share some thoughts on, we are talking about that AI is going to steal the job and all those things. So which job is in danger? If you rate them, which one would be the first? Because many of you are using like LLM models or maybe like ChatGPT as an application to generate the code. It means that AI can generate the code or generative AI can generate the code, that is for sure. And within a fraction of second, which a normal human can do within a week or maybe months of time, it can be done within fraction of seconds. So now the thing is, who is going to steal the job? First of all, the job which is in danger is basically the developer's job. So should we worry about that or not? No, not at all. Why? Because there is an era, this is an era right now where we are going to work on generative AI based AI agents. So as a software developer, your job would be changing. Maybe your job preferences would definitely change and you are going to work on most of the time developing the agents for the normal applications. So how the AI agent works, how to make this sort of agents, that is what I'm going to discuss today. And I'm going to give a brief overview about the agents and their architecture and everything. And in your day-to-day life, you can even use it for minimizing or simplifying your task, and that is definitely can be useful. Let us take an example that you want to make something like web scraping. You want to scrape lots of data from the different websites. So you may use some Python script and you can definitely do that, but you have to do manually in terms of writing the code and including like, arranging the data or maybe after that analyzing those data and maybe using them for your task. So now the question is, can we automate all these tasks? That is for sure. And that is what the AI agent comes into the picture. So bringing automations into AI or into the software industry is basically using is going to be done by the AI agents. And these days, like there are lots of AI agents already we are in touch. How many of you have used LLM as a ChatGPT application? I'm sure that everybody has used that. So it's not the only chatbot application. It is again an AI agent that looks for a number of things. Have you ever tried asking a question? Say, for example, if you're using ChatGPT, maybe like last 1 year, have you asked the ChatGPT that who am I? ChatGPT will definitely tell you about yourself and whatever questions you have asked so far in a year, until and unless if you are not cleared the memory of ChatGPT, it is going to definitely tell you about the person you are. You always talk about this thing, or maybe you are always looking for something like that, and maybe your some of the questions related to your experience and everything. So that is going to be there in terms of AI agent. So ChatGPT is a kind of an AI agent, but we never know. Now the question is that where we can use this sort of AI agents. So if you look at number of application areas, like in this audience, maybe there are students from mechanical engineering background, maybe computer science, maybe electronics or biotechnology or biology, whatever it is. So AI is going to touch each and every domain. And domain expertise is always there. And then you can be a successful one. So if you're developing some applications for any of the domain, your domain expertise plays a role. And that is where AI comes into the picture that, on top of your domain expertise, there is always an AI, and specifically the generative AI. That is what the important thing is. So, like Sir talked about in the beginning, in the first session, that, cyber defense and cyber security and like how to avoid those attacks or how to generate those attacks. So similarly, the AI agent can use to defend all this, which can be like, looking for number of open ports, maybe looking for the scanning, looking for the penetration test, or maybe like looking for number of traffic intensity in the network. These agents are monitoring constantly and you are automizing all these tasks, and definitely that can help you. So in a nutshell, I would like to say that the human race is basically not to do anything in the future. We just want to sit. We want to maximize that. Okay, see that all the tasks are being automated, and that is why the AI agent will come into the picture. So let me start my presentation with this one. What I'm going to discuss today. Some introduction about the AI agents. What are the AI agents? Components of the AI agents, and some sort of LLM agents framework which are widely used today, and some types of the AI agents. Okay, tell me one more thing. whom we call an agent basically. We have heard lots of human working as an agent, like RTO agent, what we have heard so far. So what is that job? So they work on behalf of some organization. They make the task simplified. They make the process faster, and that is why they can help you in terms of automating the task. So if I have an agent who is helping me for my admission, definitely I will simply submit my details, and my admission process will go through him. And finally, I will be worry free. So that is why AI agent is also helping in terms of automate or task automation, as well as minimizing the task process and the burden on us. So first of all, we should be very much clear that what is the difference between LLM and AI agents. So what I have compared here is in terms of that when we talk about LLMs, they're specifically the generative AI models, like what we have seen so far in case of OpenAI, OpenAI's model, as well as Llama from Meta and Palm from Google, etc. So these are all the generative AI models. They are mainly used for textual processing. I mean to say that works on most of the time on text data. In case of AI agents, it is basically a broader concept. It is on top of LLM. It is not the only LLM, but there are lots of other things involved in that. So it can incorporate LLMs. And some of the examples like Alexa, Siri are basically the autonomous agents basically right now. Though they are not fully functional automatic, I should say AI agents, but they are like working on the basis of LLMs, and they are like AI agents today. And again, I would like to tell you that the agentic AI concept or AI agents is not a new concept. It was since many years. Have you ever tried searching about your name on Google? You may find some of the results somewhere on internet. But if you want to set up something on Google itself, that if anyone is pasting, or if anyone is like writing my name on Google or any of the website, say today like LJ University has updated their conference page and my name is written on the LJ University's conference website. So whenever they update their website with my name, I will receive an email in my Gmail that okay, there is something on this website about you. So that is a kind of an automation of the task, which was previously done by Google many years ago. But now we are using basically the generative AI concept by how we can automate the task and all those things. So second comparison about the LLMs and the AI agent is basically it consists of neural networks, and we know that it is trained on heavy amount of data from the internet. But AI agents are specifically for text understanding and reasoning, where we use LLM in the case of AI agents. Perception module and reasoning planning module and action module. So these are the three modules being incorporated while we are making an AI agent. And again, there could be a number of different data what we use so far. When we are dealing with ChatGPT kind of an application, specifically targeting the text data. So whenever we are dealing with them, now there is an option to upload the picture, upload the kind of a photograph there, and that will analyze and will give you the details. But still, there is no option of uploading your own voice over there. Maybe in future you will see that you can upload a video, you can upload the audio file, and definitely it will process them and will give you the information all about. Maybe in the future you can see that you just upload your speech over there, and it will tell you about your health. Maybe like if you have lung cancer or something like that. So this is something different that where AI agents will help us. And these are the examples in action. Like say for example, when we talk about LLM, answering questions like on chatbot, you just ask a question, it will give you a reply in the text format. Or maybe like translating between different languages, you write something in English and ask that write it in Gujarati or translate it in Gujarati or something like that. Or maybe creative writing, people are writing books using generative AI today. There is no need, you just give the context or the points and how the way you want to proceed and provide some prompts based on the details you require. It will definitely generate a book for you. But when we talk about AI agents, it is like booking a flight, combining LLM for communication, APIs for data retrieval, and decision-making systems to finalize the booking. Say, for example, I want to book my flight in Emirates for Dubai on a particular date, but I want to see that the day should be this one, the price should be this one, and I need a flight in the morning. So when that sort of situation will be there, the automatic AI agent will be looking for those sort of events, and it will book automatically. It will not ask me even at that time. but whatever way I have customized that, it will definitely do it for me. Or maybe the same example which I gave you about, web scraping the data from the internet, and even the sir talked about that, the paper can be assessed online, the grades will be filled up automatically into the Excel sheet. A professor need not have to do anything. So everything is being automated in the future. So now there is a threat on us too, that professor's job is also in danger. But anyway, we are in need of a people, or those sort of people who can develop AI agents. And that requires again the skill. You need some sort of coding skill. You need a skill in terms of developing the web-based application. You need the skill of LLMs and generative AI, etc. And finally, you should be able to customize and automate all these modules and create an AI agent. So what are the limitations of LLM as well as the AI agents? That is again a kind of a comparative view here. It is limited by the quality and scope of its training data. Because of the too much hype of ChatGPT, what people understand that ChatGPT is able to answer all the questions. It is not true. Have you ever looked at the documentation provided by OpenAI, that how much data they have used to train the OpenAI's model? It is not much. It is a very few amount of data which has been used so far. And it is still not able, I mean to say, there is again a limitation for all these companies, including NVIDIA, OpenAI, and all of them, that they do not have that sort of big storage devices, and even they do not have that sort of computing devices to process them or to train them. And that is why we should not be like falsely believe on that ChatGPT is everything or OpenAI is everything and it can rule the world. But definitely we are still waiting for the time where we will be able to store too much amount of data at one place. We can use higher computing resources, and finally we can come with a bigger model. But always there is a competition in terms of development, R&D everywhere. That one way, LLMs are moving ahead. OpenAI is investing a lot into that in terms of developing the large language models. But there is again a new community which is being developed that talks about small language models. That we don't want to invest too much in terms of collecting the data, training them, storing them, and creating big models. Instead of that, we want to have a kind of a smaller language model which can be customized for a specific task. And again, if you know about the concept of edge computing or tiny machine learning, it's again a new concept in terms of putting your model into a smaller chip. Those who are from electronics and communication background must have an idea about that. There is a Arduino board. Arduino Nano 33PLE Sense. That is the board available for 5,000 rupees. It has only a 256 kilobytes of RAM, where you can upload, or maybe you can load a model onto that chip, and you can have all AI functionalities of machine learning. So a bigger model for computer like maybe of 115 MB can be customized to a 7 KB of model. And when she was introducing about myself winning a hackathon, so in that hackathon, what we did actually, that was something about identifying the mosquito species. We have lots of different types of mosquitoes. They are dangerous. And if you look at the WHO data, mosquitoes are still today the #1 deadliest animal in the world, even after 100 years of discovery of malaria and all those things. And the second is human. So mosquitoes are so much dangerous, but how to identify the species, whether it is a Culex, Anopheles, or maybe Aedes aegypti, etc. So we downloaded a dataset from Oxford University that was simply about the wing beat sounds of those mosquitoes. Wing beat sounds means machhar no ganganat. It was simply a dataset which was about mosquito wing beat sounds. It was of 14 GB. We downloaded that, we classify them using the Age Impulse platform and everything. We created a tiny machine learning model that was just of 8 kilobytes. You can imagine the size of that 14 GB of data converted into a model of only 8 kilobytes. We uploaded onto a chip, and when the microphone was on, and if there is a mosquito flying somewhere, it will display the name of the types of the mosquito. And that was the hackathon which we won. So I need to say, so the thing is, on the another side, people are looking at the smaller solutions also. So you have two options, either to go with the larger things or bigger things, or maybe you can even differentiate and find out something smaller version of that, and you can even work on those areas. So in case of AI agents, the limitation is all about the complexity, because people are configuring and finding out connections and joints between them about different models. So integration is basically the complexity right now, and may still rely on LLMs for language processing, but needs fine-tuning for goal-oriented behavior. You always need a kind of a fine-tuning kind of a thing. Just to give you more highlight on the fine-tuning part of that if you have a ChatGPT OpenAI model, you can use the same OpenAI model for customizing your model or maybe fine-tuning your model. So, say for example, if you ask ChatGPT about Python programming related question, it can definitely answer you because they have harnessed most of the books of Python programming while training their model. But if you have a totally different book, maybe a like released today, and which is not on the internet, and if you want to fine-tune your OpenAI model using that particular PDF book, you can again use that, and now your ChatGPT would be more powerful in terms of answering those questions based on the data which you have provided. So that is something about fine-tuning on a specific task requirement. Now, if you see the core functionality of LLM and AI agents, LLMs, as we know, it processes the text, primarily reactive like response to user queries and prompts. But when we talk about LLM agents, or sorry, AI agents, they're basically having autonomous behavior. So it is all about, putting AI agents on the internet. They are constantly working 24/7, 365 days, all the time, based on the conditions which you have set so far. And it is also, in touch with the digital or physical environment. So if there is a smart manufacturing industry and if there are some sensors which is throwing temperature data, you want to monitor them using AI agents, that will definitely do that. And again, multimodal, in case of like, it can process different types of data. As I told you that right now ChatGPT has few options, but in future you can see that it will emerge as a bigger AI agent instead of normal text processing application. And persistence, memory, and context. This is what the most important thing of any of the AI agent in the world. Why? Because an agent, as an AI agent, it should have memory, that it understands the past, it has the information about the past, and in the future also it should be able to predict something. And based on the training, based on the current data, like what we use in RAG models, it again fetches the data from the internet also, and finally it becomes more smarter and smarter every day, or more intelligent day by day. And that is why we need to see that persistence, memory, and contextual effect is basically the most prominent feature in terms of core functionality for the AI agent. So now let us look at the process, how AI agent actually works, or maybe like say thinking process of the AI agent. So LLM agent's problem solving process is divided into 4 different parts. The first one is basically the data analysis. Second is strategic planning, data retrieval, and learning from past actions. Learning from past action is very, very important because just remember your experience interacting with the ChatGPT. If you have asked some questions about your subject or maybe some another thing in your life, ChatGPT actually remembers all those things. And it again utilizes specifically for you. Say for example, if you ask 4 weird questions to ChatGPT, it is not going to affect other people's answer, but definitely it will impact on your next or future questions. Based on the understanding, based on the development of OpenAI's ChatGPT, it is going to give you the answers properly, but the way you are interacting with them or with the ChatGPT is going to definitely look back to your questions and answers. Once upon a time I asked ChatGPT that tell me about me as of now, maybe like as on today. So it told me that you are working on data analytics part and you have worked on that part, and now you are here and there, and maybe this shows about your experience and everything. Why? Because I used to ask lots of questions about data analytics, because when I was in US I was preparing for my Coursera course and I had to take help of ChatGPT of creating some sort of data related information, and for my material also I used to get the help of ChatGPT at that time. So that is what the ChatGPT understood about me from the past memory, and now if I ask them, it will definitely answer me like that. But what I did one day, I asked ChatGPT that forget everything about me, and then I asked the question. Now ChatGPT says I don't know anything about you. So again, your interaction with the ChatGPT kind of a thing. So LLM interaction definitely helps in terms of developing the next generation agentic AI. So if you look at the whole process, we can divide them into 2 different parts here. That this is the thinking process and how it interacts with the real world or the environment, where we have 3 different types of model. For example, there are a number of I should say, generative AI models available in the market. Some of them are open source, some of them are like proprietary. But it's a kind of a two-way process that LLM models and environment, there is an agent in between, and that is basically the AI agent. It instructs the agent to do some task. It goes to the environment. It could be a physical environment or maybe the internet in short, and it gets back to the LLM, and again it helps LLMs to improve. So this is the two-way process where like description and feedback kind of a mechanism also works into that. Now, I've taken the same example because that will help you to understand more about the previous session, that cyber attacks and how you can use AI agents to defend them. So, like, just have a look at the first text data analysis, and there is a paragraph over there which is specifically written to explain that concept. So imagine a cybersecurity analyst investigating a suspicious login attempt. Right now, what is happening that a human has to look at the log of the server and identifies like whether there is a kind of an unauthorized attempt to log in into the server. So that would be manually done today. But when you have something called AI agent, that will definitely look for that sort of thing. So the agent acts like a digital detective. Someone is already sitting in the server as an AI agent of a cyber detective who is looking for the different sort of patterns, timestamps, and geolocations. Let me give you a best example of HDFC card. Once upon a time, I was on Dubai airport and I purchased a gold chain. Immediately within a second, I got a call from HDFC India that we have observed that there is a transaction or this thing has happened at the Dubai airport, and that is a kind of a alert or an activity which has noticed by HDFC. So I said I did that. Don't worry about that. So that is what is being done today is manually. When you have some sort of AI agents, that will definitely act automatically even without the help of the human. That if there is some sort of irregular activities being found or any pattern is found, definitely it will help in terms of mitigating those problems. So geolocation is also very important because they notice that this person uses his credit card or debit card in India most of the time, and it is never used at the night time around like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So that was a kind of an unusual activity found by them, and everybody might have happened the same thing when you have tried to use your cards. So second part is strategic planning. Think of creating an incident response plan for cyber attacks, for example, like ransomware attack. Identifying compromised systems, isolating threats, and restoring backups. So here now we want to again make this task automated, that we want to see that AI agent has already found that there is a cyber attack, but now how to isolate the system automatically to prevent the further damage. And then data retrieval. This is similar to pulling logs from a security information and event management system to analyze past threats and identify attack behaviors or attack vectors basically. And finally, the learning from past actions. So looking at the past attacks, now it will become more intelligent, and now we'll try to come with a better action in future. So similar to a machine learning based intrusion detection system, improving over time as it learns new attack patterns from real world incidents. The way human learns, similarly the way AI agents also learn and try to improve over a period of time. And this is the same image what we discussed so far in the first slide, that we have LLM models on one side and there is an environment or maybe a physical one or an internet where these agents are communicating and basically making all the tasks automated. Okay, so when we talk about AI agents, right now we are simply focusing on LLM agents because there are lots of other boards also in terms of having an electronic inbuilt into that, but everywhere these days, like 99% of the agents are basically the AI agents or LLM agents. So what are the main components of an LLM agent? The first one is like when you talk about reasoning part, because just take a scenario that you are interacting with ChatGPT and consider that it is an AI agent right now. So it always thinks of reasoning part of that it has to do reasoning to understand your question, and finally it will help you to answer that. And then finally you have some sort of memory, and then tool utilization and contextual adaptation. So these are basically the 3-4 different parts of the LLM agents. So what I've written here is that in such situation, when the project demands sequential reasoning, planning, and memory, LLM agents come into the play. So we use LLM agents basically. We use LLM, we use generative AI to create the AI agents. And take an example just to understand the concept of the different components of the AI agents. That there is a question like, what are the potential legal outcome of a contract breach in California? That is a question you ask. So now it is a kind of a reasoning LLM has to do. So the first one is like monetary damages, specific performance, rescission, etc. Now what happens that if you change your question to a little bit different one and then try to get the answer, if there is a change in law, then what will happen? If you have recently, let me give you the example, like just 2 days back when Trump became the president of USA, he announced that whatever AI safety rules and guidelines were, imposed by Biden presidency, now they are removed. It means that when previously USA was thinking of, AI safety and there was like too much of funding to see that there is an experiential AI, there is an explainable AI, and there is a kind of a transparency in the models and etc. But now Trump says that I don't want to see that. We are not focusing on AI safety right now. We just want to help the companies that they come forward. So now if you ask the question like this, and if it is following only the Biden's rule, at that time what will happen? You will get the wrong answer. So it has to use reg models, it has to look for the internet and updates on the internet, and finally it will find out all the answers, do reasoning, and will give you the proper answer. So that is how the LLM will help. Again, reg models will help to function better for the AI agents. So these are the 4 components you will find everywhere on the internet, that if you want to build a AI agent, what are the main components of the building blocks of the AI agent? The first one is basically the agent itself, or you can call it as a brain. Then planning, memory, and tool you want to use. There are lots of tools available for development of that. And finally, you can call them as an AI agent. So just to remember that, and we'll see one by one. So the first part is basically the AI agent or the brain. That is basically LLM. As now it is very much clear that when we talk about AI agent, it has inbuilt LLM into that, but it is beyond LLM, it is more than LLM. Then we have some sort of prompt guidance, that user provides a prompt that guides the agent's response, tools, and goals, but it is a little bit different than the normal prompt provided. And then customization. Agent can be tailored with a specific persona to suit task or interaction. If you are interested in terms of, say, at the time of the admission in Gujarat state, many of the parents, many of the students have queried that which college I should go, which branch I should select, what could be the fees, etc. So if you ask this sort of question, AI agent can, customize everything about you, and finally it can suggest you that I find this is suitable for you, or maybe you should think of that, or maybe there could be an interactive way of asking the question to you also, and you get the answer. So this is the anatomy of an LLM agent, where we have language model, prompt guidance, and customization, but that all comes under the agent brain, basically. This is the first and most important component of any AI agent. The second part is memory. So memory is nothing but the physical infrastructure where we are hosting all this. If you are hosting on cloud, we have a memory again over there, but again, that is a memory being used temporary, even it is stored on the server itself into your account. So if I have my ChatGPT account, my memory is already stored, my interactions are already stored, and that will again be used by the AI agents. So there could be 2 different types of memory, short-term memory as well as the long-term memory. So say for example, it is temporary, clears after the task completion, and in case of long-term memory, it helps makes better decision by recalling past information. So this is something, but in case of human, what happens? That short-term memory always becomes the long-term memory. But sometimes we even ignore them, and that is why the short-term memory is also, considered to be a short-term memory. Say for example, if I ask you that last year when you kept your car key over table, on which part? So you always put your key over there, but you never know, you can never remember that. So that is basically the short-term memory which is being flushed out once you log out of the session. So this is also the second important part of the AI agent, where we talk about the memory part. And the third one is basically the planning. So as we understood that the main part of the AI agent is to planning how LLM agents to reason, adapt, and improve their approach, ensuring tasks are completed successfully. So there could be different approaches for that. The first is the formulation of the plan. So what are the different stages for that? It could be a kind of a chain of thought or a tree of thought kind of a mechanism. If you can see that block diagram, you can understand that, task decomposition approach, how the task would be decomposed into different segments. And based on the different segments, again, the information is being retrieved. And finally, you will get the answer, or maybe the AI agent will be able to help finish the task. And then there would be a reflection of the answer from the environment which it gets the data. So it is similar to a kind of a decision tree approach, I would say, chain of thoughts as well as tree of thought. This could be the way of working of the planning mechanism under the AI agents. And these two slides I will skip because this is one of the recent development in terms of AI agents. So people have written some research paper based on this planning and their data is available. I've kept the link over there. Okay, and the last one is the tool. What are the tools we require? This is not about like development tools, but in case of AI agent, this is the fourth module, which is basically responsible for making AI agents. So the first one is modular reasoning, knowledge, and language. It uses expert modules like some APIs or maybe some sort of available APIs for the particular technology. LLM acts as a router, directing queries to the appropriate modules because we have different modules, different APIs, and finally LLM will talk to them. So example is like LLM struggles with word problems requiring number of extractions even though it can handle direct math queries, but it is sometimes struggling because of some sort of modular problem. And then finally we have tool former and TALM, that is tool automated language models. That is again the very important part of the tools. And some examples like Hugging GPT and API banks are basically coming under the tools category. And if you look at the whole picture of that, we have 4 important parts under the tool: MRKL, tool former, API banks, and Hugging GPT. So what can LLM agents do? Advanced problem solving, self-reflection and improvement, and then multi-agent collaboration. See, right now we see that AI agents are like booming up, but again, people have already started working about integrating different agents. So maybe like in future you can see that there is a social media network. These days we use Facebook, Instagram, etc. But in future you will see that there are roboted automatic systems where maybe your refrigerator, which is a kind of having an IoT inbuilt into them, maybe your washing machine, maybe your dishwasher are having their own social media presence in a kind of a robotic environment, and they are also talking to each other using AI agents. Then maybe your freeze is asking your or posting on a social media network that I am having a cooling problem. What should I do? Maybe some agent will answer that particular query, and as a human, we are completely out of that particular environment. And that could be the future where you can understand that how machines will talk to them. They might have their own network, and this sort of multi-agent scenario would be possible. And these are the most popular frameworks. So if you want to start learning about AI agents today, you can definitely visit LangGraph, Llama Index. The most favorite which I like, and even yesterday at night while preparing this particular session, PPTs, I went to this one deep learning AI website. I did a short course of Crew AI, which is like prepared by Dr. Andrew Ng, who is most popular professor of Stanford. So it was a 2-hour of program, and I learned everything about Crew AI, that how you can make your own LLM agents and customize everything. They have given a very good example in terms of creating it within few hours. So these are most popular frameworks today, even the small agents by Hugging Face. And these are basically the types-based AI agents. So there could be different types of AI agents, like simple reflex, utility-based, model-based reflex system, goal-based, learning agents, because we have different tasks, and to fulfill all the tasks, we cannot have a single agent which can work on all together. We could have a different types of AI agents, and you can integrate them later on. But as a beginner, you can definitely start with some sort of single, say for example, simple reflex agent that will simply talk to internet and will give you all the details based on the automation you have provided. So what are the challenges of LLM agents today? Cost and efficiency is always there. Do you know why each and every company is not coming up with a model like OpenAI? Because you need lots of money. And even after investing that much of money, you should have customers to use them. And basically, LLM agents or AI agent is a kind of a technology which will eventually going to use all these technologies where companies have invested lots of money. So it is a kind of business model where people will develop something, they will have their own proprietary, and all the other companies in the world will be dependent on these sort of LLM models. So cost and efficiency is again a problem, because if you want to use OpenAI today, you after some sort of question and answer, ChatGPT will tell you that now you have exhausted your credits. Now you will not be able to upload any pictures to that, and maybe tomorrow evening you will be able to access this ChatGPT where you can upload the picture again. Or maybe if you want to have a kind of consistent usage of this ChatGPT, take a subscription, $20 per month, and then use it fully. So you are going to pay them. So everything is costly today in terms of cost and efficiency. Limited content, as I told you, that ChatGPT or OpenAI is not full in terms of the data which is available worldwide. Long-term planning, because still it is in the development phase. Inconsistent outputs, because many a times you might have observed that there is a hallucination on the ChatGPT, and it sometimes answer you some weird answers. Role adaptation and from defenses and knowledge management. These are some of the important criteria right now faced as a challenges for the ChatGPT. And one of my friend who works at IBM Gift City, he is a very creative in terms of putting all the stuff together. So he shared me yesterday that he has created a GitHub repository where all the kind of AI agents, around 500 AI agent projects, he actually gathered all together and kept over there. So I will show you that particular link, and I think internet is not working here, right? But you can definitely search on this one, github.com, Ashish Patel 26, 500 AI agent projects. You will find different category wise, and even the codes are available. Like you can directly run on the Google Collar and have started working on that. And these are not difficult in terms of coding and everything. You just need to understand the framework, and finally you can customize as per your requirement. So maybe within a day you will be able to create your own AI agents. That is what the way how you can start learning on the AI agents. So yesterday I found another good platform where some of the students, like from different background, maybe not from computer science. I just give the link. Is there. So you can just note down or take a picture of this link, and you can definitely visit later on. Or just search with the 500 AI projects, you will find that particular link. So Wordware is a kind of a very good platform, which I experienced yesterday, that even you don't know any sort of coding, you can do you can make customized AI agents as per your requirement. You may be from any of the field, maybe if you are from pharmacy and you want to create a drug discovery kind of a thing, say for example, you want to create a new drug. So you just specify the disease type and some of the information and the model which you want to use for the drug discovery. It will create and help you in terms of creating the modular way of AI agent. And finally, you can deploy them somewhere on the website where people can ask that I want to create my own drug, for example. So it will help you in terms of building the content for that drug. Okay, so we are done. I hope I'm in time. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Do we have any questions for Dr. Kiran Trivedi?
So what I would suggest all the students, specifically for the students, that see, technology is always there. We need some sort of creativity. Everything is available. And those who are already into AI or machine learning and all this part, you might have understood that the coding is not that much difficult. You will never find a if for while loop in any sort of machine learning problem. It's a kind of a script which you run. The important thing is creativity. So say for example, when I won that particular hackathon for classifying the different mosquito wing-beat sounds, I didn't do anything interesting in that way in terms of, but the idea was creative, that how it can help and impact the mass on the earth. So how it can be useful? That is what the first thing, you target the problem which can help to solve that sort of problem, and basically it can help in terms of with your existing knowledge what you have. So say for example, how you can use machine learning or the existing thing which is very popular every day and everybody knows about classification of images or maybe sound or anything like that. So what we did recently, when I was in Seattle, our Seattle campus was very close to Amazon headquarters, like just opposite to my building. The 45 buildings of Amazon were there, and Microsoft was a little bit far. So I had a kind of a talk for a conference called Women in Tech Regatta. I demonstrated something in terms of identifying the smell using machine learning. So if there is a rose smell, if there is a coffee smell, if there is a tea smell, just put a sensor and it will tell you that which smell it is. So we collected the different smell data basically and finally classified them. So again, the fundamental remains same of classification. So I always give a funny analogy for that creativity is important. Why? Because machine learning is something like visiting a Punjabi restaurant. You order any Punjabi sabji, the gravy is going to remain same. Paneer tikka magao, paneer lavadar magao, it's going to be the same thing kind of thing. So the flavor which you add in terms of differentiation is basically your creativity. If you have some creative ideas, you are going to have a kind of innovation into that. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions?
Maybe we can discuss. Yes, please. So people can, you can ask a question.
Hello, good morning, sir. If I get chance to highlight your speech, then I have to highlight all the words you have told here. So my question is, how can we control the deep fakes and all kind of misuse of AI, which are impacting the current?
Can you elaborate?
How can we stop the misuse of AI?
Misuse of AI. So basically, the way companies are working right now. Let me give you the first example. Say for example, we have a kind of a biometric system where face recognition is done. So when you stand up in front of the camera, it identifies as a person. So now companies like Aware Incorporated is a company, Boston-based company. If you show your photograph to that camera, it will identify that it is a spoofed image. It's not an original person. So how do they do? So these days, when you integrate different technologies like LiDAR and all of them, it will definitely identify the depth. Say for example, if I show my picture, it's a one dimensional, right? But when I'm in real, and if I have some sort of infrared rays coming on my face, there are different depths. So the distance from the camera to my nose tip, to my eyes, to my forehead, to my chin, etc. is different. And based on that, it identifies. So the answer is basically we need to find a way in terms of identifying the deep fakes for different things. So image, I know about that. But for voice, I think once it is cloned, there would be definitely some sort of data into that, which we need to identify. So it is all about, creating a deep fake data set. So create a clone data set first of all. Say for example, if I create my own clone voice using AI, and I create a whole 1 hour of speech, and when I speak originally as a person where I'm really speaking, and if I create that data set for that, and now I classify what is the difference between them, and I can identify those things. So that could be the easiest answer to this question. Specifically, I don't know exactly if there is any technology existing to do that, but definitely we have to work on that.
For all the student and researcher, I have one question, which is the cheapest AI agent?
Cheapest AI agent, everything is free right now because it's open source. You just go to Crew AI. It's an open source kind of a Python library where you can create your own AI agents. But the only thing is that, again, we are dependent on LLMs, and LLMs are not free. LLMs are not free. I am surprised to see the person whom I just now, talked about, Ashish Patel. He's between us, and I would like to call him here. You should tell me you are here. So we have an expert right now. Ashish is basically a senior data scientist at IBM Gift City. He's an AI/ML expert and working right now on number of agents. So if you can at least just, if you have 5 minutes, you can talk something on that.
So, guys, thank you, especially this who invite me for this session. So, guys, so basically AI agent. This is like one of the booming industry, and we can say that this is a hype, right? Because LLM is a base core, which is like a OpenAI. They have created a different kind of the models, 3.5, which is one of the booming. So that date is coined till date 22 November 2022, right? Or 30 November 2022, ChatGPT was launched, right? And then after everything is rapidly so faster, generative AI era is coming. So LLM isn't, then after in 2023, RAG is coming, right? It's booming because LLM is trained on the specific knowledge, or we can say on specific data. But what about the external knowledge that we have to utilize, right? So the RAG is coming to the picture. So RAG is also the core part where we are just using the vector databases, kind of the database where we are storing our knowledge, right? So we are not storing into the traditional relational database. We are storing into the vector database, and that database accepts our text as a number, numerical format, right? So RAG is nothing but retrieve and augmented generation. These are the kind of the words where we are just retrieving the similar knowledge, right? So, and generation, based on that knowledge, our LLM model is trying to understand the question and retrieve the data, right? So let's say I have some textbook and I have the question. I will try to answer from that textbook. So there is a 4 to 5 pages are similar to my questions, right? So from that pages and from this question, I will provide this data to LLM model. And that LLM model, from these, it is generate the answer, right? So RAG is working on these. And there is a variant. Variant is there, right? RAG has a self RAG. Then, so retrieval has their own way of types. Pre-retrieval, post-retrieval technique, where let's say there is a mistake in your answer or the data which you have fetched from the retrieval technique. So retrieval has their own machine learning models, like KNN kind of model we are using to retrieve the data from vector databases, right? And then generation side, we are using LLM model because LLM has that awareness. So NLP, basically I'm telling that generative AI is basically divided into the two parts, post NLP and generative NLP. So 2070 before and 2070 after. So NLP is basically the traditional NLP, which are the without context based. Context based is like whatever you are trying to do with NLP, you have to do everything like statically. So let's say you want to do word normalization. So how you can do that? I can say playing, right? Playing is one word. So what is the root word of that playing? Play, played. So when you want to convert all the word into the normal form, that is a play, root word, right? Which is we called it a verb. So that way previously we are doing. So that is known as a lemmatization, stemming kind of the technique which we are using to convert that. But in the advanced LLM kind of model, which are understanding this stuff very well, right? So initially the things was coming like Ilmo, then fast text, word to vector. These are the one of the most advanced research on NLP, traditional NLP, right? But still there is a one thing, context is lacking. Then after picture is coming into attention is all you need, 2017 paper, right? Where attention mechanism is found. That is known as a transformer mechanism, right? So attention is all you need in simple word. When I talking something, I will give importance to those words which we have to understand, right? So that importance of the word is nothing but attention is all you need, right? Then their variant is coming into the picture, and there's these industries going with the contextual knowledge, and this way this industry has explored this overall LLM context awareness, right? So this is all about like a fundamentals, which is I think there are a lot of research paper you should read, books also out there, and also coding is not a big thing, right? And over the top, AI agents are built, but AI agents is also using the external knowledge with API. So let's say I'm a medical person, I want a medical knowledge, so I'm exploring the medical journal. So tool as a medical journal API I can use it, right? So now industry is moving toward the API economy, right? Where every tool is available as an API, right? So this is all about the AI agents. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashish sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Trivedi. for such a wonderful insight. We now request our esteemed dignitaries, session chairs and professors to proceed for paper posting and poster presentations and paper presentations. Our volunteers will guide you if needed. Thank you so much.